Hey everybody, I'm Tom Vasel. Welcome to live Q&A with me on the, oh man, I got the wrong watch face here. It doesn't tell me the date, but I know that it is May 8th, 2017. Now in this live stream, I'm going to announce the Dice Tower Award nominations for the games from 2016. This is kind of an unorthodox way to do it. We did it with a video in the past. I'm still not sure the best way to announce the nominations. The awards, I know how we're going to do those. We're going to try to make them a little bit more grandiose than normal. And that's at Dice Tower Con, which is in July. We haven't even voted on these yet. We just went through the Dice Tower, all the different people who are involved with the Dice Tower, and we get together and we pick a bunch of games that we think should be in each category. Then we vote on the nominations in those categories. So I'm simply going to read these off now. And then there will be a press release that will be sent to everybody when I'm done doing this and recording more reviews and things like that. So you guys get to hear it first. All right. Not that I think there's a whole lot of surprises amongst these, but let's get started. So, best games from a new designer. Now, the best games from a new designer has to be their first or second published game. And remember, just because Kickstarters happen at various points, we go by the year the game actually came out. So, the 5 games that for best game from a new designer: Kingdom Death Monster from Adam Poots, Vast the Crystal Caverns from David Somerville, Adrenaline from Philip Neduk, Terraforming Mars from Jacob Frixelius, and the Manhattan Project Energy Empire from Luke Laurie. So, 2 of those are actually Kickstarter games, Kingdom Death Monster and Vast the Crystal Caverns. I think maybe Manhattan Project Energy Empire was too. But those are the best, our nominees for the best games from a new designer. Some people, you're asking a lot of questions right now. I would prefer if you don't even ask any questions right now, because then I have to go back and go through a whole backlog of questions. Let me get through these different nominations so you can talk about them, and whether you agree with them or disagree with them, that's fine. But wait till I'm done with these and I'll say, okay, questions now, and at that point I'll start answering them. Okay, so best artwork. We have Arkham Horror, the card game, which was illustrated by a whole pile of different people. Inish, which is illustrated by Dmitry Biliak and Jim Fitzpatrick. Islebound, illustrated by Ryan Lockett. Kanagawa, illustrated by Jade Mosh. And Scythe, illustrated by Jacob Rosalski. So Arkham Horror, the card game, Inish, Islebound, Kanagawa, and Scythe are our nominees for the best artwork. Best theming. This is a game that has a new theme, or an interesting theme, or it does a really good job at bringing that theme to life. So the 5 nominees for best theming are Black Orchestra, from Philip DeBarry, Game Salute, Captain Sonar, Roberto Fraga and Johan Lemonier, published by Matago. Role Player, designed by Keith Matica, published by Thunderworks Games. Seafall, designed by Rob Daviau, published by Plaid Hat Games. And Terraforming Mars, designed by Jacob Frixelius, man, I cannot pronounce names today, published by Stronghold Games. Today, I know some of you are thinking, how about ever? Let's see here. Best 2-player game. The nominees for that are 13 Days, The Cuban Missile Crisis from Jolly Roger Games. Arkham Horror, the card game from Fantasy Flight Games. I'm going to start skipping designer names. There'll be an official press release. This way I'm not butchering them so much. Codex, the card time strategy from Serling Games. Star Wars Destiny from Fantasy Flight Games. And Star Wars Rebellion from Fantasy Flight Games. So 2 Star Wars games, but also Codex, Arkham Horror, the card game, and 13 Days, The Cuban Missile Crisis. Best reprint. We have 51st State, the Master Set from Portal Games. Escape from the Aliens in Outer Space from Osprey Games. Mansions of Madness 2nd Edition from Fantasy Flight. Arkwright from Capstone Games. And Robinson Crusoe from Portal Games. Portal Games actually has 2 best reprints there. Then we have Best Expansion. All right, these are things that make the base game better. We have 7 Wonders Duel, Pantheon. Scythe, Invaders from Afar. Stockpile, Continuing Corruption from Navu Games. Scythe was from Stonemaier Games, and 7 Wonders Duel Pantheon was from Repost Production. Time Stories, Prophecy of Dragons from Space Cowboys, and Time Stories Under the Mask from Space Cowboys. 2 time-story modules there. Best party game. Party! We have Codename Pictures from Czech Games Editions, Captain Sonar from Matago, Happy Salmon from North Star Games, Junk Art from Pretzel Games, and Secret Hitler from, I'm actually not sure the publisher from Secret Hitler. It says here Goat, Wolf, and Cabbage, but I'll need to double check on that. All right, so best cooperative game. Arkham Horror, the card game from Fantasy Flight Games. Harry Potter, Hogwarts Battle from USAopoly. Mansions of Madness, 2nd edition from Fantasy Flight Games. Mechs vs. Minions from Riot Games. And Pandemic Reign of Cthulhu from Z-Man Games. So those are our favorite cooperative games. Best family games. We have Harry Potter, Hogwarts Battle from USAopoly. Ice Cool from Brain Games. Junk Art from Pretzel Games. Karuba from Haba. And Sushi Go Party from Gamewright Games. Then we have best strategy games. Games that have strategic decisions in them. A Feast for Odin from Z-Man Games. Great Western Trail from Stronghold Games. Scythe from Stonemaier Games. Star Wars Rebellion from Fantasy Flight Games. And Terraforming Mars from Stronghold Games. Then we have the best board game production. This is the graphic design, the miniatures, the pieces that are involved in the game. We have Conan from Monolith, The Others from Cool Mini or Not, Mechs vs. Minions from Riot Games, Scythe from Stonemaier Games, and Star Wars Rebellion from Fantasy Flight Games. 5 beautiful games. Most innovative game, something that they added to the industry, something interesting and unique. The 5 nominees are Captain Sonar from Matago, Clank from Renegade Game Studios, Millennium Blades from Level 99 Games, Mystic Veil from AEG, and Vast the Crystal Caverns from Later Games. Then we have the best games from a small publisher. These are games, publishers that have 5 or fewer games, or they did in 2016, which is when these awards are done. We have Arkwright from Capstone Games, Cottage Garden from Edition Spielwise, Not Alone from Geek Attitude Games, Role Player from Thunderworks Games, Vast the Crystal Caverns from Leader Games. And then finally, Game of the Year. This one we have 10 different nominees for. These are simply the games we just think were best of the year. So, we have Adrenaline from Czech Games Edition, Captain Sonar from Matago, Cry Havoc from Portal Games, A Feast for Odin from Z-Man Games, Great Western Trail from Stronghold Games, Inish from Matago, Mechs vs. Minions from Riot Games, Scythe from Stonemaier Games, Star Wars Rebellion from Fantasy Flight Games, and Terraforming Mars from Stronghold Games. So let me tell you a little bit here about the awards. Again, before I jump into questions, not questions yet. These awards are voted on by, I think we had, it was between 70 and 80 people who voted on these. Bloggers, people from Dice Tower staff. One person who did not vote on the awards is myself. I don't vote on the awards unless it's to break a tie. There might have been one tie that I broke, I think. But not too often, because these are not my awards. These are a group of awards from the Dice Tower itself. So we pick the 5 best in each category and then the 10. And now for the next couple months, we make sure we play these and make sure anyone who hasn't had a chance to go over them can research them. We'll do our voting in June, and then we will announce the winners at Dice Tower Con in July. If you're there, you can see it live, and we'll probably stream it live too, so you'll be able to see it at that point in time too. So, if you have any other questions about awards, I'll certainly give those priority, and I will now take questions about pretty much anything. So I'm starting questions now to when people waited. And again, you're going to say, well, why did this game make it? Why didn't that game make it? Because they just didn't. You know, there's a lot of people voted on these. There's some games I'm like, man, I wish that game had made it. There's a couple games, for example, I thought were amazing artwork that didn't get nominated. But, you know, that's me. I'm just one of many people. And I really think that the top 10 list there, the best games of the year, those are some pretty amazing games. So pretty impressive. And I'm pretty excited about the whole thing in general. So we're here. We're streaming. Our internet speed at this location is not nearly as fast as it was at the other location. So hopefully the streaming isn't too bad. But it is our goal to try to make it as smooth as possible. So hopefully it will work. This week we're going to CMonCon, so hopefully we'll see some of you there. Oh, some questions. What games are you most excited that you learned about in 2017? Oh, man. I don't know when I learn about games a lot of times. I'm just going to quick off the top of my head, I'm going to say the arcade games from IDW, Centipede. That's probably not true. There's probably something I'm more excited about that I learned about this year. There's a few things I can't even talk about that I learned about this year. But so that's probably not the best question. Let's see here. What's my favorite short story? The Ransom of Red Chief, maybe? There's a lot of great short stories. I really like short stories. There's so many I couldn't pick. As a kid, it was probably The Ransom of Red Chief. That's a good one. Where is the convention held? The convention is held in Orlando, Florida. It's Dice Tower Con. It's sold out, although you can get on a waiting list for it. But you don't have to get on a waiting list if you want to come on a Dice Tower Cruise. Dice Tower Cruise is available. You can go get room for that now. I'm telling you, folks, if you've ever said, I want to go to a convention and I definitely want to be able to sit down with Tom, Sam, or Z, or one of these guys and play a game with them or eat dinner with them, this is your best chance. Or just to talk to us, because there's the fewest people on the cruise, it's the easiest chance. And we have fun game shows, and it's really a great time. Viticulture, does it scale well? Yeah, actually, I played it with all the player counts, and I like it with all of them. Is Jason coming to UK Games Expo? He is not. It is only going to be me, Sam, and Z. Although we're going to have a bunch of our UK contributors and different things for the show will be showing up there, and we'll have a list of that on our website probably the week before UK Gaming Expo. Will we see a tour of the new place? Yes, that will probably go up sometime this week, but it may not because of just other things that are going on. But it will go up either this week or next week, likely. How's the new house working out so far? Amazing. The other place was good, but this place is great. We already have this room finished. I'm really happy with this room. The sound seems good. We're still working a little bit with lighting and stuff, but I'm excited about it. The other room is going to be great too, but we're going to take our time on another room and make sure it's set up. My office is coming along. I can't tell you how nice it is to finally feel like at home. And, I worked last week was a long week. We were here for hours and hours and hours, and I even came in super early this morning. There's still some things that are getting done. There's still a few things I need to get for this place, but I'm just really happy with how it's coming along. What do you like more about the new place compared to the old place? Well, it's super quiet here. There's no immediate neighbors. We have one neighbor across the street, and that's it. There's a couple neighbors maybe down the road, but not very close. Also, we love the parking. Parking here is great. You can park on the grass, come in. We had a game night here where we invited some people from our game group over on Friday night, and just to break the place in. And I want to say there was 8 people here. Yeah, 8 people here. That was pretty fun, and that we didn't have any problems with parking. If you're in the area and you're watching this, and you're like, why wasn't I invited? Whoops, email me and I'll get you on the list. What are my top 10 awards in the gaming industry when it comes to importance for the game? Well, the Spiel is obviously the most important. The second most important is probably the Origins Awards. Maybe Mensa. Maybe Mensa. I don't know if I have a top 10, but those would probably be the 3 most important to the game doing well. There's a lot of other awards out there being given by different people, but those are the 3 I think. We're trying to get Dice Tower Awards there, but it's not there yet. Did you see Guardians of the Galaxy 2? I did. My thoughts? Well, I really enjoyed it. I don't know if I enjoyed it more than the first one. but I enjoyed it as much as the first one. Drax just was hilarious in this one. And Tiny Groot, if my kids could buy a Tiny Groot in a box, I would do it in a second because that's the cutest thing ever in a movie. Really, really funny. And I don't want to spoil any of the movie because I'm sure a lot of people haven't seen it, but I enjoyed it. Do I like Brass? Yes, I did a review on it. I don't love it though. I just like it okay. What am I most looking forward to at the UK Gaming Expo? Just meeting everybody. The people there were extremely friendly and fun. How hard is it to decide what to review? I just grab a game off the shelf that looks interesting. I don't put a lot of effort into it. I'm trying to open up a board game cafe in my local city. Thoughts on the business industry? Any cool tips? Well, my first tip would be you better call other board game cafes and talk to them and get as much information, especially Snakes and Lattes, because they are the number one, the premier board game cafe in North America. If you could only own one, would you choose First Martians or Terraforming Mars? Probably Terraforming Mars, but First Martians is not out yet. Do you think Riot Games will produce more board games due to their success with Mechs vs. Minions? Well, maybe, but they don't have any in the pipeline. I wouldn't be surprised if you see one in a couple of years, maybe, but I don't think they're trying to like just pile out tons of games. That's not that they were just doing this as something that they thought was fun. Will you be able to do a live top 10 as part of your Q&A at the UK Games Expo? No, we're actually doing a live top 6. It's going to be me, Sam Z, and Efka and Elena. So since there's 5 of us, 5 times 6 is 30, the same as 3 times 10. What's the topic? You'll have to wait till then to find out, but we thought that'd be fun to ask them to join us. They're from No Pun Included, really funny videos. So we will be doing a top 6 there then. I don't remember what the day and the time for that is yet, but we'll try to announce it. We'll try to put our schedule up hopefully next week. Yeah. Okay, so today my board game breakfast where I talked about what was coming up, that was just a mistake on my part. A lot of times when I add videos, I add them in and adjust them so that they fit the same size because they're intros and stuff, so I want them all a certain length, and I did that automatically with this. So the length that I spoke last week, this was the same one, and it just made me speak faster. So, sorry. Speed demon, I guess. My favorite faction in Terra Mystica? I don't like Terra Mystica. By the way, if you're wondering about the whole thing with us moving and stuff, just watch the last couple board game breakfasts. I don't feel like rehashing that. Do I like gardening yard work? No, it's in my top 10 least favorite things to do. What do you think about the expansion for Zaya? I haven't seen it. I haven't played Gloomhaven for over a month. It's just been a long month for me, folks. Gloomhaven was a lot of fun, and I definitely plan to pull it back out and play it some more, but I fell behind on games, and so I've been playing mostly new games lately, and got a lot played. Played some really bad ones, played some really good ones, so you'll see some of those coming up. In fact, I just recorded a couple reviews. Tomorrow you will see... That's so helpful. I just recorded the reviews and I can't even remember. Oh, they're right behind me. Geekado, Bot Battles, and Flatline. And since both of them are on the shelf here behind me, you can imagine what I think of both of those. So, more videos on the way too. What's the lightest game you get to the table the most? No. Swish is pretty light. Maybe Time's Up, because it's only 40 cards. It's pretty, oh no, Love Letter. Love Letter is pretty light. I'm going to go with Love Letter, probably. Most hated troll? Oh, definitely the internet trolls, for sure. I've yet to receive Indiegogo donation stuff. Well, that's because we haven't sent it out yet. We're working on getting it together. Are you still doing Every Game is Awesome with Jason? I haven't seen a new episode in a while. I haven't recorded one with him for a while. I'm not sure how often we will do that now, but we might. It depends. Because I don't record from home now, so since I record here, it's harder to correspond it with Jason's. However, you're going to see more individual videos from him as time goes by. The living card game design seems to work for Fantasy Flight games. Is there a reason other companies don't copy this model? Well, I don't think anyone's not copied. I think other companies do it. Summoner Wars was a living card game. So is Mage Wars. So there's other ones. I think the new Versus is a living card game to some degree. So there you go. Have I played Crosstalk yet? Yes, that review is going to go up on Wednesday. Can I give some personal predictions about the winners of Dice Tower Awards? No, and I think I don't give the predictions because I feel like people will then think that I then influence them if my predictions are correct. I feel, okay, well, here's the thing. Some of them I know who's going to win. I know who's going to win expansion just because I saw the votes for nominations. So sometimes you can see that some nominations have so far ahead of everything else that it's very obvious what's going to win the award. But there are some that I thought were a slam dunk, and they did not. So for the most part, I will be probably surprised. Game of the year, I suspect I know what the game of the year is, but I really don't know. Even like production, where I usually can feel pretty confident, or artwork, where I feel pretty confident usually. This year I don't know. There's a lot of really good games. There's no one game that will dominate the awards. Well, mostly because no one game was nominated across. I think the game that got nominated the most was Vast, maybe. And I'm really happy about that. I'm thrilled to see a ton of different games that are nominated. What's the last book that I read? I've been rereading the Sten novels. Do you have any 3D printed dice towers? Yeah, there's a blue one on my shelf. Right here. This one's 3D printed. I love these. I need some more dice tower. I need more knickknacks. Now that I got a space for knickknacks on my shelves, I got space in my room for posters. So, you know, if you're a board game publisher and you have a really cool artwork poster, or anyone has anything geeky or cool, I'll stick it on my shelf. And so if you send in like a little knickknack, maybe it will show up on the shelves at some point. Is it time for your Spiel des Jahres predictions? Wow, you know, someone asked that I think last week, and I don't know what's going to be Spiel des Jahres. I think that I probably have played something, like I would think, for example, I would think that Century is a Spiel des Jahres, very obvious. But I don't know that that was picked up in Germany at all. Century was played only in, Century was made by Plan B Games, which is a Canadian company, so I'm not sure. If you were telepathic, would using that ability be considered cheating at board games? I don't know. Should I be doing my final project or asking this question? Do your project. I was a teacher. Lorenzo Magnifico, what do you like about it? Well, hang on. My review of that's going to be going up this week, so you will be able to see that. What's the oldest game in my collection? Well, it is probably well, Cosmic Encounter, I guess, but yeah, I should put that one on the FAQ. I get asked that one a lot. Blah, 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 blah. Favorite monster in Blood Rage? Well, that's a good question. The one who keeps regenerating. I forget which one it is. The troll, maybe? Maybe. How often do you add new games to your collection? Well, right now I'm going to add them more often. If you can see here, there's a little bit of a space here in this spot. There's a couple spaces over there. There's a couple shelves over there. There's 3, 4, 5 empty shelves there. So I have room to add some more games just because of moving and shuffling and things like that. but then I'll tighten up again. And even then, a game has to be really good to make the collection. Any chance we'll see a top 10 convention games at some point? I feel like we did that, didn't we? Didn't someone can answer that? I thought we did a top 10 convention games. Now that it's a few episodes in, how's the response to the new Dice Tower podcast format? I think it's mixed, but honestly, it's just been the last 2 episodes. I wasn't even there because of my mom's funeral, and then tomorrow is going to be a nothing episode, really, and then we'll get back to normal. And then we got the convention episode. So you're going to have to wait a few weeks months, honestly, before I really worry about the feedback on them. I do know the downloads, and the downloads have been okay. Why the hate for DC Deck Builder? I just think it's anti-theme. Not that it goes against the theme. I think that it's anti-theme. Do you miss me? Are you excited to see me this week? No. Let's see here. I've never been to a Game Con. I'm going to Grand Con in September. Is there anything special I should make sure to do while at Game Con? Well, say hi to us, because me and Z will be at Grand Con. So that's what I would do. But just go play games with people. Come up and ask me to play a game at Grand Con, because that's definitely one of the easiest cons to play a game with me at. Oh, yeah, that top 10 book. Well, it's in another room somewhere. I'm not going to go drag it out now. I'll bring it next time. Have you found a suitable replacement for the ship combat counters in the Eon expansion, the Cosmic Encounter yet? No, not really. I think I'm just going to have to make them myself maybe at some point, or maybe get someone else to make them. I'm not using them until I get a better one made, because they were driving me crazy enough. I like the idea a lot. I think it's great. I don't mind a simultaneous selection. But I need bigger dials for sure. Thoughts on the Shut Up and Sit Down convention news? Well, that's great. More conventions, right? I'm curious how many conventions we can have before, they all don't fill up anymore. But it seems like, they're fans. I was actually surprised it wasn't in the UK, that it was in Canada. But part of them are in Canada, so I guess that makes sense. So I'm sure it will do well. Do you believe in moral absolutes? I do. Anything new for the Dice Tower cruise this year? Well, we got some ideas and some interesting things, but I'm not going to announce all the new stuff that we're doing until we get a little bit closer. Right now, I need to get through the next. There's a wave of 3 cons that are coming up. I mean, we have CMON Con this week. I'm not counting that one. That one's not even so hard. But then we have UK Gaming Expo, Origins, Dice Tower Con. When those 3 are done and I'm breathing, of course, Gen Con is then right around the corner from that, but there's a 4-week difference there, I think, and in that time, I'm start working on cruise stuff. But really, it's Dice Tower Con Cruise, Dice Tower Con Cruise. Those are the 2 main Dice Tower events, and yeah, it's hard to work on both of them at the same time. What's your excitement level for the new X-Men expansion for Marvel Legendary? I'd say an 8, actually. I didn't think I would be as excited, but the last little expansion, Marvel Noir, which at my excitement level is like a 3 for, was actually really good. And this one has X-Men, and I love the X-Men. And Legendary X-Men, which I really like. I like the pictures. I like the people that they did. I like the fact that it's a mega expansion. So, yeah. There's a lot of untapped public domain potential for board game themes. Sure. Is there anything from off the top of your head you think should be turned into a board game that hasn't yet? Anna Green Gables? I don't know. Let's see here. Has been difficult to stick to diet with the way things have been going. Yes. Did I miss it, or was it not a best expansion category? Nope, definitely was a best expansion category. Where's Dragon and Flagon in my collection? I believe Dragon and Flagon, I don't know where that is. It might not have made the cut. I really like the game a lot, but not every game makes the cut. So that was probably one of them. Do you think there will be a new printing for Automania? I think so. Which contributors are planning to do a top 100 this year? Well, we had Roy do one. Suzanne's top 50 apps are still coming at some point. Me, Sam, and Z are going to be doing something different in that regard. And I don't have anyone else planned to do one this year. We might, but we'll have to wait and see. By the way, you can always go back. You don't have to watch a video live. You can go back to the beginning and watch it if you want to see the nominations. But we'll send out a press release where everyone can argue and tell us how bad they are. What do you think of Colonel Sanders? Is he a purveyor of delicious chicken or an evil menace sent to destroy us all? KFC chicken's okay. I've had much, much better chicken. I don't go to KFC very often. Let's see here. Have I read The Way of Kings from Brandon Sanderson? I have not. Have you played the latest Agricola Expansion Edition? How do you feel about the cards? Well, they're too thin, that's for sure, but I haven't played it. Are the cards balanced? I'm sure they are. What happened to my Dalek poster? Well, it's still at my house. I didn't take down the posters at my house, so I need new posters here. What's your favorite upgrade in Kemet? It's one of the monsters. It's just whatever monster I feel like at that time. Maybe the beetle. I will have an opinion of the Arcadia Quest Dragons coming eventually. Would you put Vast on your no noobs list? Since it's so easy for a weak player to accidentally kingmake. No, I don't think so, just because I don't think enough people have played it, so I would have to play with new people for that one. What's my favorite character to play in Vast? The Knight. But I would play any of them happily. If a game is a no-noob game, how does the game get new players? Well, of course. Okay, again, I even said this in the video, that it was kind of tongue-in-cheek, because of course we'll teach games to new people. Why would we not? What we were saying in that video is, if we have our druthers, those specific games, we'd rather play with people who already know how to play the game. Of course, if people don't know how to already play the game, there's no way to get new players. We know that. That's how you teach games, right? We were just saying, of all the games in the world, these were the 10 that we would prefer not to play with new people if possible. I don't know how else to say it other than that. There's no way anyone can think that every game is as friendly to new players as the next one. That makes no sense at all. So, will Z be doing the... Okay, no, what's the newest game you've added to your collection? Well, I just told you, actually. Gekado and Flatline. And then Lorenzo Il Magnifico will also be added to my collection. Do you think the Miniculture metal coins are worth it if you bought them separately? Probably. Depends how much you like them. Is there a good entry-level pickup and delivery game you'd recommend? All the games in your list with Jason and Rado seem pretty complex and heavy. Did we do pickup and delivery? No, me, Jason, and Rado did economic games. And then we didn't do pick. Oh, maybe we did 2 top 10s, didn't we? I know we definitely did economic games. A simple pickup and delivery game? I'll go with the new ice cream one. What's that called? It's from the Green Tree games. The little ice cream one. That's a real simple pickup and delivery game. May we take a moment to thank Rado for giving some help to Dice Tower during the last week? Well, of course, yes. Actually, I felt really bad about it because I found out an hour before the show was supposed to be recorded that my mom was going to die at any moment. And she did die during when the show would have been recorded, which would have been just... I was not in a frame of mind to record at all. So I called Rado, woke him up. I felt really bad about that because it was the middle of the night for him, so he was trying to get some sleep ahead of time. I woke him up 15 minutes before, and I said, do you mind if I don't do this one? I feel really bad about it, but I don't want to delay the podcast. I'd rather get something out there. Can you and Eric handle it without me? And he said, yes, of course. And Eric said the same thing. And I really felt bad about throwing on that because I also want to go like toe-to-toe with Rado. Not in a bad way, but we just have very different opinions on games, and it's fun to go back and forth with them. I have a great time, and so I'll probably have him on the show again just to make up for that, you know. But I do appreciate that he came in there. But yeah, you would not have wanted to hear me that night. We had got kicked out of our house, and then an hour later I found out my mom died. It was just a back-to-back thing. I was broken. I really was. I wanted to just be with my wife, so I went home and let her comfort me, and I ate ice cream. Okay, so what was the top 10 book called? I think it was just called Top 10 Book, the Book of Top 10s or something like that. Are we going to be at Kubla Khan? We're not. I'm sorry. We can't go to every con. It's just not possible. Is there any hope for Dark Souls house rule out the grinding? I'm sure that there's some hope for the game if you want to mess with it and make it better. And I'm also seeing a lot of people. I saw one guy who just wrote a review where he said, this game is amazing. My first game was 5 hours. And I was like, what? How is that amazing? But he thought it was amazing, and that's fantastic. If you like the game, go for it. It's my most thumb down reviewed ever. I mean, really thumb down. I think I give 1 thumb down for every 2 thumbs up. Probably more than that, actually. That's a pretty bad ratio, but it's mostly because the Dark Souls crowd came in, and how dare I say anything about the game to some degree. Oh, wow. I can't change my opinion on it. I mean, I don't really care about Dark Souls one way or the other. I don't know much about the game, which I guess irritates people because I should know about the game. But I just didn't like the board game at all. So, but if you do like it, fantastic. Have you read any Stephen King books? Yeah, I've read several of them. I like his short stories better than his books. Some of his books are really good, right? And then some of his books have this gross, weird factor to them. I kind of like I like his non-horror a lot, actually. His horror is fine if it's more spooky horror, but when it gets into gross, nasty horror, then just means nothing to me. Is there cruise info online? Yes, I believe it's Dice Tower. I'm just going to check it real quick. DicetowerCruise.com. It's not an amazing website, but it's a website. So if you go to DicetowerCruise.com, it has all the information, has a phone number you can call and reserve now. Is it a problem to book Dice Tower Cruise from Europe? No, I don't think so. You call Cool Stuff and they'll handle it. Who is my favorite Star Wars character? The easy choice is to say Chewbacca, but I'm not sure that's true. BB-8? I don't know. I like most of the characters in Star Wars. Red Leader? I don't know. Because I also have a hard time separating Star Wars from the books, too. I read so many of the books. In the books, Wedge Antilles is one of my favorite characters. Definitely Han Solo is a really fun character in the book. So is many of the minor characters have bigger deals in the books. Thrawn is my favorite character by far, probably, but he's not even in the movies, so that doesn't count. Is Jason the Dice Tower's version of Leo Getz from the Lethal Weapons movies? Yes. Have you ever been to Montreal? I came near Montreal when I visited Z-Man Games up there. We'll talk about education with games at some point for sure. This game here, the Dinosaurier game, this game has plastic dinosaurs. It's only available in German. I've wanted it for years just because it's a really cool looking game and a listener sent it to me. And that was very nice of them. Have I played it, you might be wondering. Yes, I need to play it still. That shames me. What do you think about the expansion of Star Wars Rebellion? Looks interesting, but they didn't give out a lot of information. I didn't think the game needed an expansion, but having Jabba the Hutt's cool. But we'll have to wait and see. I've never been on a cruise before. Is it feasible for single people? Yes. If you're interested in that, you can email Jason, and he can hook you up with other people who are coming like as a single person, and then you can go two to a room or share a room or whatever. Real simple, easy to do. I think we can easily hook people up for that. You can have your own room too if you want, but it costs more to do that. Let's see here. What's your next ideas and top 10 list? Oh, I always have ideas for top 10 lists. Lots of ideas. And I'm usually 3 or 4 weeks ahead on top 10 lists. Any idea when the cool stuff in Kendall will open? 2017. What's your Hogwarts house? Who cares? I think the whole Hogwarts house system is stupid. Differentiating and putting kids together, deliberately clicking them up. That's insane. Insane. How do you find these games for the Dice Tower Essential line? All sorts of ways that I find games. You might have the next one, but you have to convince me to play it, which is really hard to do. So usually you have to convince somebody else that your game is awesome, and that person will tell me. Although at Origins, I'm going to have a 2-hour open game night. I haven't decided what night I'm going to do it yet, but at Origins, one night, I'm going to sit there for 2 hours, and you can come and get in line and show me your game in 5 minutes. 5 minutes, I'll look at it. That's it. I'll take notes, and I'll tell you later, yes or no, if I'm interested or not. I don't know if anyone will come by. Maybe I'll play one person's game for the whole 2 hours, but you never know. If you could enter any board game like in Jumanji, what game would be? I always answer the same thing. At Candyland, have you read any of the King Killer Chronicles? Yes, I've read them all, unless they've released the newest one. I haven't heard about it. So by the time they release it, I'm going to have to go back and read the old ones again. How long will you be in the Philly area for PAX Unplugged, other than the smorgasbord you mentioned before planning any visit into Lancaster County? Yeah, I plan. I don't know exactly. I'd like to come in Thursday ahead of time. We're going to be working with Geek & Son. We're going to be at their booth at PAX Unplugged. And so my goal is to come in Thursday, and my goal is to have a big meetup in Lancaster on Thursday at Blue Ball, actually, which is where Shady Maple is. And so I'm going to get somebody to reserve a room, and pretty soon we'll put out like things like who's coming, and we'll set it up, and we'll have like an unofficial Dice Tower meetup. And we'll all get together, see if we get a private room there, enjoy time there. Doing anything else? Not so sure that's possible at that point in time, but we'll see. Why did you never do a review on Talisman? I just don't think I ever got a copy of it to review. I hate Talisman. So, sorry. I thought this was at 11 tonight. Wrong time post. Yeah, I put 12. I put 12 midnight instead of 12 noon. I noticed that because I came in and it said comments were disabled. And I was like, why are comments disabled? And then I realized that I had it scheduled for the wrong time. So if you are watching this later on thinking it was then, I apologize. And I just realized there's quite a few people watching. That's very nice of you all. I haven't been able to register for or find the Origins Live event. Yeah, it's Saturday night. Save that on your schedule, but it's not on the thing. I'm trying to get it on. I actually talked to Origins on the phone on Saturday, so I will follow up with them tomorrow to see if they can get that on there. If you had to choose, would you prefer to play a 24-hour gaming marathon of Feld games, Rosenberg games, Nietzsche games, or Boza games? I don't know. Boza, maybe? I don't know. His are shorter. Do you store games in plastic tubes? No. Why does Dominion Alchemy get pooped on as the worst expansion? Because the cards aren't that interesting. It introduces an extra currency, the potions, and so you have to bring out another thing to the table, and then it's something else you have to do to play these cards. You actually have to play with a lot of them or it doesn't work because, there's one card that needs a potion. Am I going to take a potion for that one card? It's very different than if there was 3 or 4. Since it was a small expansion, there's not a lot of them, so it doesn't dilute into the whole thing very well. All the other expansions do. This one does not. And then it also has some of the worst cards in the game. Possession is one of my least favorite, most people's least favorite Dominion card, where you take control of someone else's hand and play for them. That's just not fun at all. Is the new place smaller than the other place? No, it's the same size. Is it farther you drive to get to it? Yes. In which game a dummy third player doesn't bother you? Maybe Kingsburg is okay. Jerky chicken or plain fried chicken? Jerky, probably. Let's see, a lot of people are asking questions here, but I'm looking for ones that are different or interesting. People who love Dark Souls love ice skating uphill. Again, I don't have any criticism for people who like Dark Souls. If you like the game, that's fantastic. I was just kind of annoyed because I went out of my way to say that the theme was not a big deal to me. The theme in the game just seems like you're fighting soldiers and stuff. Did not feel that dark. I know the game is super dark, I guess, but it didn't feel that dark in a board game, and yet people said, oh, it's too dark for Tom. What? I specifically said that wasn't one of the reasons, but what do you do? Let's see. Books are no longer canon, rest in peace. Well, I mean, were they ever canon? I know they were canon, but did that matter? I mean, I've never understood this, like, those books are no longer canon. Oh, no! There's like 100 of them. No one burned them all. You can still go read them and pretend that that's a Star Wars universe. Now, if you mean they won't be adding any more books to the end of that line, I'm okay with that, because they were getting kind of insane. The writers were trying to find, like, shock things. Like, when they added that Wunzo Vong or whatever they were coming in, I read that series and highly disliked it. There were some good moments in it, but it no longer felt like Star Wars. It no longer felt interesting. They were like, oh, the Jedi are too powerful, so we need to bring in people who are even stronger than the Jedi. And I'm trying not to spoil the books, but there was major character deaths. There's no way you cannot not know about that. There was major character deaths. The first one, I said, fine. That one kind of set the tone for the series, and I understand that characters need to die. I was not as upset about it as many people were. But the second major death that occurred in the middle of the series made no sense, still makes no sense to me as to how that worked or why that even was there. I was very confused by all the different threads that were going on in the whole thing. It just was not very good for me. I just disliked it. I tried to. The final book was okay, I guess. You know, it was like a few people got their great moments in and stuff, but for the most part, when it was done, I was like, ugh. And then what they did with the two children of Han Solo, Jaina and Jada, I just wasn't a big fan of that. It just got very, very bleh. I tried to enjoy it, but no one came to equaling when I was reading the Heir to the Empire trilogy, and even things like Darksaber, Kevin Anderson books. Kevin Anderson books were not nearly as good as Michael Stackpole's books, but I'm sorry, Timothy Zahn's books. Timothy Zahn's books, but they were still very fun and felt like Star Wars, like Courtship of Princess Leia. Great Star Wars book, but they just kind of went downhill. So if they're not making any more of them, I'm okay with that. That was a really long answer to what wasn't even a question. Favorite X-Men that you're excited to add to Legendary in the upcoming expansion? Well, Legion, probably. I think Legion's a very interesting character. Sorry, guys, the question shot down to the bottom again, so there we go. There we go. Blah, 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 blah. What's my favorite Atari game of the 80s? Oh, that's a good question. Probably Tank vs. Tank. I really like that. Or Pitfall. Pitfall I really like too. My favorite game of that era was not an Atari game, but was a... what was that for? The TSR... I had to use a cassette tape. It was Tunnels of Doom. Tunnels of Doom was amazing. It was a role-playing type thing. We went through and fought monsters and stuff, and it's awful now. But I've been trying to find this game to be able to play it like on the computer, like an emulator somewhere. I cannot. I really enjoyed that game. Another game I really enjoyed was for my Commodore 64, which was Chomp, which was where you were a goldfish swimming around trying to bite other fish in the tails. Really enjoyed both of those. That was kind of from that era. Well, let's see here. What's the one game you would love to see get the brass re-release treatment? Oh man, there's so many games. I'm like, wow, that what he did with brass Roxley games is just amazing. There's a lot of games over the years I think that would do really well with that Roxley game retreatment. So I'm not going to pick any in particular. I just would love to see him make more games because he did a really good job with that one. What game are you surprised there isn't an expansion for? Well, you're not going to want to hear this, but I'm going to say Magic the Gathering Planeswalkers, because why is there not more expansions for that game? It's idiotic. Will you make a How I Love Gloomhaven video in the future? No, not really, because my review of Gloomhaven was the reason I said, hey, you know what? I really like doing a review that way, where I just talked about the review, talked about the game, and gave all the different reasons why I liked it, didn't like it, or things I didn't like. And I like doing that, and I said, you know what? Maybe I should do this with the games I like more, just to go through and say how I love. So I'm going to do one of those a week. I probably, if I go through my top 100 games, or ish, you know, I don't have any, I'm not following any particular pattern. I'm just going, have I done this one yet? No? Okay, let's do it. That's a game I really love. And I'm going to just go through lots of games, but I got at least why I love, I could do my top 200 games probably. That's 4 years worth. So I think I'm going to be doing those for the foreseeable future. And maybe adding more games to that list as time goes by. It may be a never-ending series, honestly, but we'll wait and see. How do you keep track of all the games and all the rules? It's very difficult. I do it in here, but as people will tell you, that's not very smart. What's a Florida specialty food every tourist should try at least once? Well, down here, you should definitely get Chop Chop. That's a rice, chicken, lettuce, cheese dish. It's like taco salad, but no shell. Instead, you have rice. Or a good Cuban sandwich. That's what I would recommend from here. Or if you want to stay awake for the next 100 years, Cuban coffee. I don't like coffee at all, but I'll drink Cuban coffee. Not much, though. I'm not attending BGG-Con. We're going to be going to PAX Unplugged instead. You got to visit Shady Maple for the Smorgasburg. Well, no kidding. That's why I'm going. I mean, Shady Maple Complex itself is a really fun complex, but definitely going there for the Smorgasburg. It's my favorite. Mechs vs. Minions, not in the small publisher category. That was a call on my part. All right? That was... Sometimes I make the calls on different things, and even though technically the rules of small publishers is 5 games or less, I made an exception that Riot Games is not a small publisher. When you have $1 billion, I'm sorry, we cannot conceivably call you a small publisher. I think that people would look at this award and laugh at it if Riot Games was in there. So I know it's like, that seems kind of fuzzy. You have this hard line of 5 games or less. I do, but in this case, I think I'm going to say 5 games or less, or more than $1 billion profit. How's that? What should you do when you go to Gen Con? Nothing. Just have a good time. Don't try to say you must do any one thing. I mean, if there's one thing you should do when you go to Gen Con, come to our live show. That would be fun. And I have some really fun things up my sleeve for the live show at Gen Con this year. I'm very excited about it. But I wouldn't say you need to do anything else. Just go around, enjoy yourself, maybe schedule a game or two, but not too much. Let's see here. Will you be giving away your copy of Seafall? I don't know what we did with our copy of Seafall. I might have kept the pieces and thrown the game away because you can't really give the game away. I don't know. Will I ever come to Dubai or the Middle East? Well, I'd love to come to Dubai, but I don't think that's possible. I mean, I would have to someone would have to pay for my ticket and everything else. If that ever happened, sure, I'd love to come out there. I'd love to go to any new country, honestly. But there's time and money that's really stops me, as it stops anybody. Do you have any rival game reviewers? Well, I guess everyone's our rival, right? If you're on YouTube, we're all competing for the same views. I know that there's always the whole, hey, we're all doing this together. We're not really rivals. Yeah, we are. Same thing when board game companies tell you, well, they're not rivals. Well, of course they're rivals. I mean, they're friendly rivals, and that's the same way it is that we are, right? They're friendly rivals, but, if... I talked to Steve Bonacore about this because he says, we're not rival with anyone. I'm like, no, that's not true. If I only have money for one game, you want me to buy a Stronghold game rather than, let's say, an AEG game, or Portal even. He's good friends with Ignacy, but if I'm only going to buy one, he preferred me to buy the Stronghold game. That's the way I am too, right? We're friends with the other reviewers, but if you only watch one show, we hope it's ours. But it might not be, right? Because there's a show up for everybody. But yeah, there are rivals. It's not like a big negative thing, though. We try to be better than everybody else. We're not, obviously. But that's something that people push us. And when we say, hey, look what that person's doing. Oh, we got to up our game to be with that. That's good. I think it's good for the hobby and the industry. Would I like to see another Forbidden game? No comment. Do you watch The Leftovers? No, I don't. Explore an Egyptian pyramid or an Aztec pyramid? I'll go... I need to know if this is a mythological one or not, because they both seem very scary. I think, if it's a real life one, if I could go inside an Egyptian pyramid or an Aztec, I think I'd rather go in the Egyptian one. I think there's fewer bugs there. I don't know. Is Joe going to be part of the Dice Tower crew? Is it one time only? It was nice to hear from him again. You will see Joe again in various places. I'm not going to tell you where or when. You'll just see him show up for sure. Why do you do a live Q&A instead of pre-recorded Q&A with pre-picked questions? I don't know. It's fun for people. They can talk to each other too and answer each other's questions. Let's see here. Would you rather eat zucchini noodles or sweet potato fries? Zucchini noodles. I don't like sweet potatoes. Sorry, guys. Would you listen to offers from larger media groups to buy the Dice Tower? I listen to them, but I'll probably say no. I like our freedom and our autonomy. What's my favorite Roald Dahl story? I know what it is, but I forget the name of it. Let me see if I can quick see what it is. My favorite, The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar. That's what it is. That's easily my favorite story of his. Really like it. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like his other stuff. I like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and The Great Glass Elevator, and all that jazz. But I like his autobiographies. But that one I love. The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar. I've read it many times. Is it your goal to have all reviewers under Dice Tower umbrella one day? No. No. Why would I want that? I'm not trying to ever become a super monopoly. If you notice, just the opposite seems to happen. Reviewers from the Dice Tower go off and start their own channels. I'm doing a pretty poor job if that would be my goal. Sorry for those who tried to get in at midnight. I really apologize about that. I did not know because I was sleeping. Did not notice that the thing was coming up. Let's see here. Well, that looks like it's it for now. And a lot of people have asked questions that I've already answered. Actually, some of them have been answered in this Q&A. And some of them are answered in our FAQ where we answer things all the time. So I'm going to have to probably stop here. Why? Because I got more reviews to do. I recorded 5 today, but I like to record 5 more if possible before the day is over. Maybe, well, my goal was to record 15 today because I need to get back on the ball, folks. I know that my mom died and that we moved and all that happened over the last 2-3 weeks, and it was a really tough 2-3 weeks. And I tried to work throughout that doing different things, and I feel really bad that I didn't get as much content as I normally do. So I'm going to try to really get more content out. There's a lot of fun little games and awful little games that I'll be talking about over this coming week. I got 15 reviews scheduled for this week, and then next week, and I don't know if I'll get 15 done next week, but I'm going to try. I'm going to just try to get out a lot of reviews. We'll try to do some more live stuff. If you're at CMON Expo on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, please say hi to us. We're going to be recording some stuff in the press room, but we all won't be in there all the time. We'll be out there. We'll gladly, if we happen to be walking in lunch and you're going the same way, hey, we're glad to talk to you. If there's a chance to get in a game, we'll do that. I'll bring a couple of my really bad review copies, and maybe we can get some of those played so you can say I played a horrible game with Tom Vasel. I should actually get a button for that. But anyway, until next time, I'm Tom Vasel, and you have been watching the Dice Tower. And, well, I was trying to think of something else. Oh, yeah, sign up for the cruise. All right.